My name is Syed Gul Yusuf Zaheer, and I am from Pakistan, which is now called Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. I am from a remote area of Karak district. I was about 40 years old in 1907, and I had 4 children. My father's profession was to raise sheep and goats. I was a shepherd by profession. We were 2 brothers. My second brother also had children, and we both used to live in a very big house. We did not have any financial problem. We had a lot of land in our village. Sheep and goats were also a big business. My wife and children also helped us in our work. There was a lot of mutual love. That is why the family system was going on very well. I used to take 100 to 150 sheep and goats with me in the morning and leave for far away places to graze them. Sheep and goats used to graze all day in high and low mountains. And I used to sit under a tree and pray. I used to recite the holy words of Allah. And I used to be busy in praising Allah. In the evening, all the sheep and goats used to go back to their homes. We did not have any place to graze the sheep and goats. I used to graze them in different places. Anyway, our area was a very vast green and lush mountainous area, and there was a lot of fodder for sheep and goats here. It was afternoon of summer. I used to take my sheep and goats to graze them. I used to take lunch with me in a handkerchief, and I used to have a bowl of water with me. I used to sit under a tree and eat lunch, and in the evening, I used to graze my sheep and goats and come back. In the morning, I used to count the number of sheep and goats when I left the house, and in the evening, I used to count the number of sheep and goats when I brought them home, so that there would not be any shortage of sheep and goats. This is a matter of one day of summer. The sun was not so hot yet. After grazing the sheep and goats all day, when I started grazing them for return, I counted the number of sheep and goats before taking them home. There was a shortage of 1 goat among them. I was very surprised that where did the goat go? I counted all the sheep and goats again, but there was a shortage of 1 goat again. This was a very surprising thing for me. This had never happened before, because when a few sheep and goats of the shepherd were grazed, the rest of the sheep and goats went here and there and came to me, and then the whole shepherd would come together and walk on his own. I saw a lot here and there, but I did not see a lost goat anywhere. I came back very worried. I told my brother Abdul Samad that there's a shortage of 1 goat in reward a day. He said that it must have got lost somewhere in the jungle. Go and find it again tomorrow. Maybe some other shepherd has found it. Then he will return us. I said okay. The next day, both of us brothers searched for the goat at that place. But we did not find the goat anywhere. We asked other shepherds too, but they also nodded in rejection. There were some other shepherds of the village who went to other provinces and grazed their sheep and goats. We asked everyone, but everyone said that we do not have any such goat. They said that there's a lot of desolation on your side, where you take sheep and goats. Maybe your goat has gone far away in desolation, so go and find it with confidence. Both of us brothers searched for the goat all day, but we did not find a goat anywhere. We came back disappointed. Slowly we forgot that goat. Obviously, there was no other way. But after a week, the same incident happened again. There was a shortage of 1 goat again. I was very surprised. I went back in the evening and told my brother. He was also surprised and said, "How can this be? Who took our goat? This is the 2nd goat that we have lost. Let's see what happens." The next day, my brother told me a trick. He said, "Now you just take 10 goats. I take the other goats to the other side of the village. Now keep a close eye on these 10 goats. Let's do this for a few days. Then we will know where one of the 10 goats is lost, who steals it and takes it away. It will be very easy to keep an eye on a few goats." I agreed with his trick and took 10 goats to steal daily. But again the same incident happened. After 4 days, one of those 10 goats was missing again. Now, both of us brothers were very worried. This was our business. It was our livelihood, and we could not tolerate such a loss. My brother Abdul Samad and I sat together and started thinking how to find a solution to this problem. How to find the thief who takes our goats. After a lot of thinking, my brother gave me such an advice. Hearing this, I got excited and started looking at my brother with admirable eyes. My brother said, "Brother, leave all the goats. Take only 2 goats and tie them together with a big rope so that they cannot go away from each other. Then keep an eye on both the goats secretly. Where do they go, and who tries to catch them? Wherever they go in the valley, under the tree, wherever they go, you keep following them. Then it will be easy for you to see who the thief is." I agreed with him. The next day, I took 2 goats and tied a long rope between them. By doing this, both the goats could not be separated from each other. And then I took them out to graze. I left the goats there to graze. I sat for a while and was busy in my meditation. And then I got up and started following the goats slowly. First, the goats kept moving around in the grass, and then they got lost in the high and low slopes. But I was constantly keeping an eye on them. I also had a stick in my hand. As the goats were walking, they turned a turn of a pole and went to the other side. I was also behind them. I hid behind the pole and saw. The goats had reached such a place where it was deserted everywhere. It was a very scary scene. That place was low, and there were high and low valleys around. It was afternoon, and it was anyway deserted. There was not even a trace of any animals around. I slowly walked toward the bush and started looking at them. The goats were walking carefree in the grass. Suddenly, I saw a shadow coming out of a pole in front of me. All the shadow of that shadow was covered in black clothes, and his black hair was scattered. His face and face were not clearly visible. As soon as I came out of it, there was a commotion among the goats. The goats started making noise in their high voice, but their voice could not reach me if I was sitting there at my designated place. When the first goat took the goat away from here, then that shadow came a little closer. So I saw the body wrapped in that black dress. For a moment, I trembled from head to toe. She was a very scary and terrifying woman. She was a woman with a mustache. Her scary red eyes were fixed on the goats. She put her hand forward to catch a goat, and the goat ran here and there to escape from her. There was a long rope tied to the goat. The second goat was tied to the second head of the goat. When the terrifying mustache saw that the goat was running, she jumped forward in one jump and grabbed the rope. And now she started pulling both the goats towards her with her hands. She had immense strength in her hands. The goat was still screaming, but she gave a single jump, and both the goats flew away as if they were flying near that witch. She put forward the terrifying mustache and grabbed the goat in her mustache. I was standing far behind a bush and watching the scene with great surprise and fear. My heart was beating very fast, and I did not have the courage to go ahead and help the goats, to free my goats from that witch's clutches. Anyway, what could I say to her? As soon as she saw me, she pushed both the goats under her arms, and in the blink of an eye, she disappeared behind the same bush. My heart was beating very fast. I could not even imagine that I would face such a terrible witch in this desolation during the day. This was the witch. This was the thief who used to kidnap our goats. And our goats were getting less and less every day. I ran back home, chanting the Kalmoepog. When I reached home, I was in a very bad condition. My wife asked me, "Is everything okay? What happened to you?" I told her the whole incident. She was also worried. Then I quickly sent a child and called my brother Abdus Samad home, and I told him everything. Abdus Samad was very surprised and worried to hear this. And he said, "Brother, do you believe that she was a witch?" "Yes, am I lying?" "She is a very scary, terrifying, witch-like woman. She is not a woman, but a witch who takes away our goats, and definitely eats our goats." My brother was also a little scared to hear this. He said, "Brother, the solution to this is that you do not take the goats to the other side of the jungle. We will go to the other side of the village. You know that the biggest herd of goats in the village is ours. If she does not find the goats there, then she will definitely turn to the village. And if she turns to the village, then our herd comes to the village first. That is our house where our goats are kept. This means that our goats are not even safe in our house." "You are right," he said. "Now we will have to think about what to do about it. For the time being, it can only be done that the goats are not taken to that side, and the goats are protected in the house. We will take the goats to the northern part of the village. Yes, this is fine. There is a lot of population towards the northern part, and that which will not turn to that side." We both agreed. I would have taken care of the goats at home. They would have been fed at home. And Samad would have taken them out to graze at some time. That too on the other side of the village. I would have taken them at some time. Now, we did not go to that deserted part of the village, where we were in danger of that terrible witch. We both did not mention this to anyone in the village. By doing this, we both brothers were made fun of a lot, because we knew that no one would believe us. Similarly, a few days passed, and then what we were afraid of happened. Our mansion house was on the other side of the village, on the other side of which was the same deserted forest, where I used to take the goats to graze. Now it happened that, at night we lost a goat every day. This was a very disturbing situation for us, and I was 100% sure that the same which would take away our goat from our house every day. We both brothers were very scared. How to face that which now? After a lot of thinking, we called the village priest to our house. The priest of our village was more than 80 years old, but despite being so old, he was still healthy, and his eyesight also worked properly, just a little deaf. He used to hear a little louder than his ears. We told him the whole situation, and told him how a terrible witch takes away our goats every day. First of all, she attacked our river in Charaga, and now all the goats are being taken away from our house. For God's sake, priest, help us. We are in great trouble. The priest listened to us very carefully. Then he said, "Okay, take me to that part of your mansion where you all graze your goats." We took him to the back part of the mansion where there was an open farm area where we had kept all the sheep and goats. The priest went around the whole area, and then he blew on some walls, and then tied a talisman in all four corners, and said, "I have made a fence around your sheep and goats. Now she will not be able to enter this house, but still she will try to enter." I asked the priest, "Can't there be a permanent solution to get rid of that witch?" The priest said, "Yes, it can be done, but it will be a difficult process, and it can cost your life. And in this, at least one of you brothers will have to support me." I said, "We are ready. You tell me, how can we support you?" The priest said, "First see the effect of these talismans for a few days. If your goats keep disappearing like this, then we will think of something else. And yes, if you want to get rid of that witch, then give me a few days. I can tell you something about it only by doing some rituals." We thanked the priest a lot. The next day, I went to the farmhouse at night and laid down on the floor and began to guard. Now what happened at night? When it was midnight, I saw that there was a lot of noise in the sheep and goats. I got up in a hurry. The stick was in my hand, and I was not in a sound sleep yet. I was not asleep, but that stick was not enough to protect me. I saw a very long shadow near the outer wall of our house. That shadow was so long that I was scared to see it. In the moonlight, I saw that black shadow, which seemed to be as long as the sky. It was the same scary witch who was standing on the other side of the wall of our house and wanted to enter the house. But maybe she could not come inside the wall because of the amulets and that smell. And then I saw that she kept raising one hand inside and tried to pick up a goat. But then she put her hand behind with a shock. I understood that this was undoubtedly the effect of the amulets. But there was a commotion among the goats here. The goats were making noise. For some time, she kept trying to pick up the goat. But sadly, that shadow started to get smaller, and as it got smaller, it disappeared behind the wall. The next morning, I informed Malvi Sahib of Bagambog. Malvi Sahib said, "Yes, it means that the amulets worked. Just give me one more day. I will definitely help you to get rid of that scary witch." The next night, I was not at peace again. I did not see that witch again. But on the third night, Malvi Sahib himself was present in our mansion. Malvi Sahib said, "Who among you two brothers will support me?" "You order, Malvi Sahib. Both of us are present." My younger brother said, "I will follow Malvi Sahib's advice." "You tell Malvi Sahib." I said, "I will stay here with both of you. One of you brothers will have to pour this water on that witch. This water is poisoned. You hold the bottle of this water and hide in the shadow of that wall from where it appears. And as soon as I give the signal, you have to throw this water on her. Then watch the show. But you have to be very careful in this. Your life can also be in danger." I explained a lot to my younger brother, but he did not listen. He insisted that this work will be done by himself. Malvi Sahib and I both laid down in the courtyard of the mansion. All the sheep and goats were tied up in front of us, and we were sitting very comfortably. Malvi Sahib and I kept talking for a while, and then we laid down in such sheets as if we were sleeping. But we were both awake and alert. The night was slowly passing. And then as soon as 1 o'clock in the night, all of a sudden, there was a commotion among the sheep and goats. The goats began to get up and break the ropes. It seemed as if they had seen something very terrible.